Hey guys, it's Sam Adams from Sam Adams Fitness. Today I'm going to have a little conversation with you here because I want to clear up a couple different things here. One, I'm showing you boxing stuff, right? Purist in boxing might do it slightly different than I do in certain aspects. Now, 99% of it's going to be the same, but there's a few differences, and let me explain why that is. Now, in pure boxing, right? Your hands are up, you're fighting a guy and they're punching at you and you're punching at them, right? Right. So one difference is when you put your hands up here, right? And you're ready to fight. In pure boxing, your body is turned really far, right? It's almost like, so because you're narrower this way, it makes sense, right? So they have a harder time punching, right? Here. Now, mine is slightly a bit more forward. Now there's a reason for that. Now, if I went to a straight boxing match, probably not the best idea, right? I should probably do it the traditional way. The thing is, my background is in wrestling and martial arts and kickboxing, right? So the big difference, and this is one reason why boxers can do this, right? They turn their bodies and they stand and they have their feet positioned in the right way. And sorry about the noise here, it's in my garage. But so the reason why they have their feet positioned a certain way so they can turn their body and they can still do the strikes. They can still pivot. They can still do all that, right? Now, one of the problems with that in a different setting is, okay, so if you're taking on a kickboxer, right? One of the problems with that, okay, so you put your foot and you put most of your weight on the front leg, right? When you're punching. So when you're stepping in, you shift weight, but when you step in, boom, you punch and you come back, right? Your weight is on that front leg moving you forward. One problem with that you have to be careful of when you're doing kickboxing is you put your weight on that front leg, they chop that leg, right? All they take is one little low kick, boom, and they chop that leg, right? So one reason why you kind of go a little bit forward in kickboxing is because of the position. Now let me show you here. I'm going to move this here so I can kind of show you a little bit better of what I'm talking about. So now in kickboxing, okay, they chop that leg, right? You check it. You lift that leg up and you check it, right? That's what move to do, right? Well, it's hard to do when your body's turned like this to check it. So that's one reason why it's a little bit forward, right? Another reason is because you're throwing that back leg and you have to turn those hips over and stuff too, right? And so there's differences. That's one reason why. Wait, let me raise this back up again. Now, another reason is because also with the MMA background, right? And wrestling background, if I have that leg forward and I have all my weight on that front leg, first thing a wrestler's gonna do is they're gonna take out that front leg. All right, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna fake up, grab that leg, and take it out. And you aren't very stable if your leg's up in the air, right? So that's one reason why. So it's better positioning there. So in wrestling, you also learn that if a guy goes for that front leg, you get that leg back, and that's why you switch legs, and you can do both ways, right? That's why I also like learning both directions, right? Because sometimes you'll have to switch that leg, now, especially in MMA, because you have the punches, you have the kicks, and you have the takedowns, right? So totally different. Now, when talking pure boxing, then definitely you're going to want to have that position the right way, right? Now, another thing that changed a little bit, and the reason why I do it is because in traditional martial or boxing or kickboxing or whatever else, it's a sport, right? A lot of it's become sport. And while I love the sport aspect of it, and I participate in that and I train for that too, right? Another aspect of it is I want to train to protect myself. That's another reason. So one of the things that I always do, and this is where like one of my videos, I think jab video I talked about a lot, was positioning of the arm, right? And positioning of the hand, right? Now I didn't get too much into the strengthening because you want to strengthen this area, right? Because you don't want it to bend. Now, in boxing, in kickboxing, you wrap your hands, right? To protect your hands, and you put gloves on, right? Now, when you have those on there, you can get away with a little bit of cheating, a little bit of fake, or not fake, sorry, loose punches or something like that, right? So, but in bare knuckle, you can't, right? So one of the things I like to do at the end of my workouts is I will wrap up, I'll do everything else. And then I'll do a little bit of bare knuckle boxing on the bag, right? Now, I don't hit it as hard as I do with the mitts on or with the gloves on, right? Doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't do that. If you hit too much, too hard, you will rip your knuckles up. But part of it is conditioning your knuckles, right? Conditioning your hands, right? So when I punch here, I start out slow, right? I start out slow, accurate, and I really focus on using these two knuckles, really focus on my wrist straight, and really focus on when I hit, this doesn't move at all. I don't feel any movement in my wrists, right? So I'm down, I punch, boom. So I started that way, right? And I'm really focused, really accurate on my hits. Not super hard. And then I'll get a little bit harder here and there. If I start to get a little bit sloppy, I slow it down, I ease up, right? If my knuckles are starting to get a little bit sore, a little bit ripped up, then I stop, because otherwise you have to worry about your knuckles ripping and stuff, right? But it's a good idea for self-defense aspect of it, that if you are on the street, you're not gonna say, wait a minute, I gotta put my gloves and wraps on. You're gonna have to be able to do that. A couple of ways you can strengthen your wrists and stuff, right? One is the wrist curls and all that stuff. You can do that way. But my favorite is when I do push-ups. I do them on my knuckles like this, right? And I do it on these two knuckles, and I keep it as steady as possible, which means I have to go a little bit wider. So when I do it, my wrist doesn't move. So basically, my goal is to lock my wrist in place when I punch. All right? So that no matter when I punch, my wrist rotates. It doesn't do this at all. That's my goal, right? Because if I punch, I don't want any bending of the wrist. So that's why if you see me when I lock up here, I actually, because of so long of doing this, I have a hard time bending my wrist when I make a fist. Now, I can grab things and I can do it that way, it's fine. But when I make a fist, my reaction is to keep it straight and to keep it solid. Okay? So that's a little bit of difference too. And with a wrestling background stuff too, I don't like to do it all the while. I like to kind of stay in closer, because in wrestling, you get extended out, you grab, you pull, and you take them down, right? That's one thing I like doing before. I do arm drags. I grab their wrist, grab their elbow, drag them right through, and I have their back. So when I teach you boxing, I am teaching you the basics, right? If you want to learn the actual sport of boxing, I'll teach you basics. We'll go through some of that stuff here too, and we'll get that down. If you're going to go further on, I got a couple of guys I can hook you up with here if you're interested. The guys that I look to for instruction and stuff too. So on that, if you're looking at transitioning possibly to kickboxing or MMA, I can help you with that, because that's more of my wheelhouse, right? So slight little differences, but that's it. So this is all this video is about today. I just want to clear up a few things. I want to make sure you understood that if you see little differences, there's usually a reason why, okay? And if you see anything that you don't understand or don't like or think is a little different, definitely comment, right? Let me know what you think on that. Because I don't want to do something and then you don't really understand why I'm doing it. So I love comments. I love responding back to comments too. I can take criticism very easily, okay? I understand that, and that's fine. I'm good with that. So definitely like, subscribe, hit that notification bell there too. It'll show you when new videos are coming up. I'm going to be trying to do these at least once a week. I'm going to try to get more often, but hope that's the hope. So definitely like, subscribe, share, check out my kids' channels. I'll put them on the description again. So if you like any of YouTube or any of the like Rubik's Cubes or juggling or Pokemon or any of that kind of stuff, right? If you got any kids that like that kind of stuff, check them out. All right. With that, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you next time.